All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And yesterday, I shared a video on a quote, and we found out who that quote came from in regards to the Superman movie. And we're going to take a look at that quote today and find out more stuff that was said. And I'm going to talk about what my fear is with the film and also talk about some of the criticisms that people made in the comments. And I'm going to clarify a few things. But there's other stuff we have to cover. Matt Reeves is coming out talking about the Batman 2, and there's other things to look at. It's pretty crazy, some of the stuff that's going on, and none of this seems to be positive except for the Batman 2 stuff. But that movie still hasn't officially been greenlit because they don't even have a script. But we're going to take a look at some stuff, so let's jump in. All right, so before I get into today's news, if you are new here, please take the time, if you would be so kind as to like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And for those who are returning and have viewed my videos before, what are you waiting for? Subscribe. Also hit that notification bell. I am trying to get to that 20,000 subscriber mark by the end of the year, and I can only do that with your help. All right, so let's get started. It says Matt Reeves gives the first details on the Batman 2. This is coming directly from Matt Reeves himself. He said it's going to dig into the epic story about deeper corruption, and it's going into places he couldn't even anticipate in the first one. Now, there's more in regards to this quote and interesting stuff that I will discuss here when we move into the next photo in regards to this. All right, now this has been floating around for a while, and I want to talk about this here. It says Zoe Saldana and Chris Pratt have reportedly had discussions with James Gunn about potential roles in the DCU. It's floating around that Chris Pratt is being groomed for the role of Batman, okay? That is a rumor. I want to make that very clear. That is a rumor. We don't know if that's true or not, but I could see James Gunn doing that. And then I think Zoe would actually make a great Catwoman if they decided to go that route. But who knows? These two could possibly have role. Well, I guarantee you they're going to move over here. It's what James Gunn does. He reuses the same characters over and over and over and over again. Now, along with all those negative reviews of the Joker yesterday, it said the Joker 2 received an 11-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival. That's pretty crazy. Now, I want to make it very clear that I do not put any credence into what IGN or Rotten Tomatoes says. In fact, the fact that all these critics hate the film probably means that it is probably going to be a good film. And so I always go into every movie as a complete blank slate. I don't care who made it. I don't care what studio is behind it. I'm always going to give you my 100% honest feelings on that film based on the film itself, regardless of who made it. And I have always done that. Anybody who has seen my reviews knows that to be true. So a lot of people come in and say, I've already made up my mind to hate these things, and I have not. I actually go in and base every movie on its own merits. I don't care who made it. I don't care the director behind it or the studio behind it. I go into each film as a completely blank slate. Now, I thought this was kind of funny because it said rumor that Nicholas Hoult shot a scene as Lex Luthor for Peacemaker Season 2. And this is coming from Grace Randolph. Now, if this happened, which I believe it probably did, I made a joke about this online and I said, what? Is it his shadow against the moonlight? And that's in regards to the Justice League cameos that they made at the end of Peacemaker Season 1. So unless it serves a purpose, James Gunn was talking about cameo porn. This right here, that he shot one scene for Peacemaker Season 2, wouldn't that be cameo porn? Like, seriously? We'll see. All right, so here's more information on some of the quotes that I had yesterday. And this comes from Daniel RPK, who has a lot of actual stuff come true. Like this, he's a good source of information. And this comes from DCU Updates and also from DC Film News. As far as lanterns go, it says the studio wants Josh Brolin because Hal Jordan is an older, gruff, no-nonsense mentor to Jon Stewart. Filming begins next year. Superman, it's fantastic, goes all out with fantasy and sci-fi. The DCU, It's set across different timelines, not just present day. Many more unannounced movies and shows in development. Okay, so, there were questions about the timelines. And like I said, I think this means that it's not just going to be present day. There are going to be things that are, maybe set back in the 50s and not in the same timeline with some of these other projects. If they weave that story right, that could be kind of cool. And we're going to talk about this. I think I grabbed another quote that I want to talk about, but I'm not 100% sure it's in here. But we'll talk about it if it's not when I get to the end. So I love this quote from Bat Dan's Thoughts, and this is one of the reasons why I don't, some people will come in and say I'm toxic and that I'm bullying James Gunn, but I'm not, okay? I don't attack people personally, only criticize, what they do professionally, because it's not our job to judge people. And I love this from Bat Dan's Thoughts. He said, serious question. Why are all these people so quick to cover all the controversy surrounding Ezra Miller? But the instant someone key in the allegations retracts their statement, they are dead silent. And I actually like this because it's true. Everybody piled on Ezra Miller. And now we're finding out that that stuff wasn't true. And this is why I don't judge people personally and go after them, because I don't have all the information, and I'm not going to cover that stuff. If I mention it, I'm just going to cover what's happening, but I'm not going to give my thoughts on it because I'm not here to judge people, and that's why I don't attack other channels. It's not my job to go after other people. My job here is to entertain and bring you guys my thoughts on what's happening with everything related to the DCU. But this was a great point by Bat Dan's Thoughts. Everybody was always talking about Ezra Miller, and all of a sudden when he's being exonerated, everybody's silent about it, it is crazy. Now, here is this is probably the perfect look, or the best look I have seen on the Superman suit yet. Look at all of those wrinkles. Holy freaking crap. This suit is not a tight-fitting suit at all. This is more like a wetsuit, or something that, like someone said, NASCAR drivers would drive. This is not meant to look like a Superman suit. And he's got wrinkles up here by the shoulders. He's got them in the elbows. He even has them up by the sleeve. Like, this is crazy. Why? Why would you make a suit like this if you have to do post on every single shot of the film when you could have just made a better fitting suit? Why? This is why I honestly believe they have no plans on fixing this in post, that this is the way the suit is supposed to look. Now, this is one of those things that cracked me up, and somebody shared this because of what I talked about in regards to the, the World's Finest the other day. When asked what he would call a film starring Wonder Woman, James Gunn said the following: I'd call it Wonder Woman. Now, I laughed when I saw this because this is obviously fake, guys. Again, it's fake. And everybody likes to pile on when he makes a quote and say funky things, but this is not real. And I want to address something because somebody said that I love Dan Mora's line, World's Finest, and everyone in there, I made the comment about sci-fi and comedy in my last video. And I want to clarify something. I understand that Superman is sci-fi and also fantasy. I totally understand that. But we're going to talk about here in a few minutes what this could lead to and what my fear is. I understand that the Dan Mora story is a lot of that, but the thing is, I don't want Dan Mora's storyline to be made into a movie. You can't take projects and make a literal translation out of them. Like, someone also mentioned the Batman the Animated Series. There was some goofy stuff in that too, and you're right. There was. I can't envision them taking Batman the Animated Series and turning it into a live action project. That doesn't translate well. But I tell people, if you want to read a good World's Finest storyline, I've shown this on my channel before, you would want to get that storyline where Batman and Superman discovered Supergirl. It's an incredible story that I think everybody should read. It was actually made into a DC movie as well, and I have that actually in a hardbound book in the other room, and I highly recommend it to everybody. And when I see Batman and Superman in that, it's not a comedy. by any stretch of the imagination at all. So here was the other part of the Matt Reeves the Matt Reeves comment that I wanted to talk about. Matt Reeves says the Batman universe might push to the edge of fantastical, but we would never go into full fantastical. What was important to me was to find a way to take these pop icons, these mythic characters that everybody knows, and translate it so that Gotham feels like a place in our world. Well, here's my answer to that. Here's my critique of this, okay? To me, The Batman is a very, 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 very flawed movie. Like, extremely flawed. And the two biggest things that bother me, and these are things that take you out of the film, because they did a good job building this Gotham, but, you know, when he gets the bomb in the face, I don't care what suit you have on. He's dead from that impact. He survived a freaking bomb in the face. He would never survive that bomb in the face. Nobody would. Okay? That was fantastical. Also, when he used the wingsuit at the top of the GCPD, and he hit the side of the highway, that's a death impact right there. Yet he survives that and just walks it off. It doesn't matter what suit you have on. That is going to stop your heart. That's fantastical. So for him to say they haven't gone into the fantastical, sorry, bud, you already did that. You already went too far with it. They could have done those things a little bit better for sure. But like I said, there's a lot of things that I have issues with the Batman, but by far out of everything coming out, I'm more excited for the Batman 2 than anything. Now, this is something I don't nearly talk about enough on my channel. I'm actually a gamer, and I don't talk about games that often, but it says Rocksteady reportedly lays off 18 staffers following Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League flop. Now, a lot of people are going to make you believe that this is just because Warner Brothers is running the show horribly, and it's not just Warner Brothers. First off, anybody could have told you that this was going to flop based on the information that got released. Why they did some of the stuff they did in the game, it was very clear that they didn't consult people who actually write the comics, and they just did weird crap. They don't understand how Green Lantern rings work. They don't understand about these characters at all. Like, there are so many problems with the storyline. But it's because they are pushing agendas in the film or in the game, and everybody's just tired of these agendas. They just are, okay? Now, the 18 staffers getting laid off. It's not just hitting Rocksteady, guys. There is a massive issue going on with games right now. I own a PlayStation 5, and by now in the life cycle of most video game systems, I would own dozens of games. I own 4 games for my PS5, and one of them came free with the PlayStation 5. I never play my PlayStation 5. It sits like a brick. It never gets touched. I like it because it can play my old PlayStation 4 games, but as far as PlayStation 5, they don't have anything coming out that I even want. And Sony, every company is having problems right now. There is a massive issue with video games in general. So this doesn't just fall on Warner Brothers and Rocksteady. If you make games people want to play, they're going to buy them. Nobody wanted this. They wanted a Suicide Squad game, but not like this. More on the Batman 2. It says, the Batman 2 will not include supernatural villains like Gentleman Ghost, but we might push to the edge of fantastical, but we would never go into full fantastical. It's meant to feel quite grounded. So more comments coming from Matt Reeves based off of his other ones. And that's too bad because that probably means we're never going to see Clayface. I would like to see someone take on Mr. Freeze seriously. I would love to see Mr. Freeze in this universe because he's my favorite Batman villain. He's a villain with actual feelings and an actual purpose. I would love to see him portrayed the right way. So this goes off of the other Lanterns news. It says James Gunn is eyeing Josh Brolin for Hal Jordan because his vision for Hal is to have him be an older, gruff, no-nonsense mentor to a young and reckless Jon Stewart. And we know Brolin excels at playing the grumpy type. I don't hate that they're looking at Josh Brolin. I hate that they're making him so old. I have a fear, like I said, that they're going to push Hal Jordan to the side and focus on Jon Stewart. There is no reason why you can't have both of them close to the same age and both of them fighting for Earth. There is no reason why you have to put Hal in there, someone you're going to shove to the side. It's just completely unnecessary. All right, here's the big news on Creature Commandos. We actually have a release date on this. It says December 5th on Max. On December 5th, everything will be declassified. This comes from James Gunn. The new Max original series from DC Studios' Creature Commandos premieres exclusively on Stream on Max. I'll have more intel soon. All right, guys, I'm going to start sharing this on social media. Contrary to popular belief, I don't want this stuff to fail. I don't. I would love for Superman to be a massive success. I don't see how it's possible. I don't see how they expect Creature Commandos to be a big deal either. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to help them out. I'm going to share it, and I'm going to help get the word out. Because I'm not the type of person to just crap on somebody and hope something fails. I don't. But this isn't what anybody asked for, and I think the viewership is going to prove it. Now, I thought this was awesome. There are some channels out there that will tell you that, Henry Cavill was never hired back as Superman, that the people who told him to announce that he was back were Pam Abdy and Mike DeLuca, and that was it, and that they steered him in the wrong direction, that he got stabbed in the back by The Rock and everybody else. But if you look at this, after Henry Cavill had made his announcement, look at all of these Twitter accounts that mentioned he was back and showed that promotional image. DC Official, you had Warner Brothers Pictures, you had DC Official actually say, welcome back. And Warner Brothers Entertainment said, guess who's back? Celebrate with us by owning Man of Steel today. You think this was all just because of Pam Abdy and Mike DeLuca? No, David Zaslav was the head of the studio at this stage. They made him go all around the circuit and announce he was back, only a few months later to have James Gunn get rid of him. And you wonder why the fans are upset with Warner Brothers. It's disgusting. All right, so let's get into the real thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to my last video and follow up with. My fear with what James Gunn is doing, the quote that I wanted to grab for some reason is not in my photos, and I wish I would have grabbed it. But James Gunn actually said that this version of Superman is not set in our world. It's in a world unlike anything that people have seen before. A lot of sci-fi, a lot of fantasy in there. And you know what this sounds a lot like and what my fear is? Has anyone ever seen his Scooby Doo movies? Those were also not realistic and were fantastical and were sci-fi. Do you really want a Superman in the vein of Scooby Doo? I think it's coming. Yeah, I have legitimate fears, guys. I really do. I don't think he could do a straight-up superhero film and make it good. I don't. He has to prove himself. And I'm not seeing anything, not from the quotes, not from James Gunn himself, and definitely not from the photos that have been released. And I do say, because of how wrinkly that suit is, I don't think there's any way they're going to spend the money to fix it in post, because they would have to do every damn shot. That's a lot of work. All right, guys, so there's my update for the day. I will be back later with a review on Beetlejuice. We are going to see that today, and I will have my review up as soon as I get back. We will see you on the next video.